The arena is thunderous. The crowd roars like a living ocean, every wave crashing against the steel barricades. Inside the ring stands a man wrapped in pain and passion, his torn shirt soaked in sweat, a half-smile carved across his battered face. Across from him, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, dances like lightning, ready to strike again. But the man facing him is not just a wrestler. He's a survivor, a dreamer, a madman who turned pain into purpose. His name is Mick Foley. The bell rings. A clash of two worlds begins. Shawn, the artist of perfection, grace, skill, beauty. Foley, the warrior of chaos, scars, willpower, heart. Every punch that lands on Foley seems to break him apart, yet somehow he rises. Again. And again. That night, the crowd wasn't watching a match. They were witnessing a man proving that pain cannot kill a dream. Long before he stepped into that ring, Mick Foley was just a kid from Long Island, New York. A quiet boy with big dreams and even bigger imagination. He wasn't born strong or fast. He was born different, a kid who taped his own promos on an old camera, pretending to be a wrestling hero. While others played safe, he jumped off his roof onto mattresses, chasing a dream no one else could see. People laughed at him. They called him crazy. But crazy is what built legends. In college, he hitchhiked hundreds of miles just to watch his idol, Jimmy Snuka, dive off a steel cage. That one leap changed everything. It planted a fire deep inside Foley, a fire that said, "One day, that'll be me." His path to wrestling glory wasn't paved with fame. It was filled with scars. From dingy gyms to small-town rings, he became Cactus Jack, the man who felt alive only when surrounded by pain. Barbed wire, thumbtacks, steel chairs, these weren't props. They were his language. Every drop of blood told a story, of hunger, of heart, of never giving up even when the world said no. When he reached WWE, people doubted him. They said he didn't look like a superstar. Too rough, too broken, too strange. But Foley turned rejection into fuel. He became mankind, a masked soul who lived in darkness, the reflection of every person who ever felt unwanted. His screams echoed through the arenas not just as a character, but as a message, that broken people can still make noise loud enough to be heard. And then came the match that defined him. Hell in a Cell. The Undertaker. A 20-foot fall through the cage, his body crashing into the announcer's table. The world froze. Commentators thought he was done. The match should have ended. But somehow, he stood up. Broken teeth, dislocated jaw, barely breathing. Yet he climbed again. He wasn't wrestling anymore. He was defying fate itself. That moment became one of wrestling's most unforgettable images, not because of violence, but because of spirit. Mick Foley showed the world that day that pain doesn't end a man. It reveals who he really is. Outside the ring, he was different. A gentle father, a loving husband, a man who read bedtime stories to his children after nights filled with blood and barbed wire. He wrote books, spoke to fans, and reminded everyone that kindness can exist even in a world built on chaos. But his greatest victory wasn't a championship belt. It was inspiring millions who saw themselves in him. The outcasts, the dreamers, the people told they weren't enough. Foley's story whispered to them, "Keep fighting. You matter." Years later, when he looked back at his broken body, the missing teeth, the scars, he smiled. Because every scar had a purpose. Every fall meant something. He proved that you don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You just need to keep getting up. In the end, Mick Foley's journey wasn't about wrestling. It was about heart. About showing the world that even the most ordinary man can do extraordinary things if he never stops believing. And that's the message he leaves behind. No matter how many times life throws you down, no matter how deep the darkness gets, don't ever give up. Because sometimes, the craziest dreamers are the ones who change the world. The lights fade. The crowd chants his name. Foley, Foley, Foley. And somewhere behind that gentle smile, you can still hear him whisper, "Have a nice day."